Welcome back. Let's give you a wrap of the day's business. The National Treasury has revised economic growth down to 1.2% for 2025. Now, in the budget speech in May, Treasury had forecast growth of 1.4%. Finance Department says real GDP growth will average 1.8% between 2026 and 2028. Now, in reaction to the medium-term budget policy statement, a youth organization says the level of growth is not enough to address rampant unemployment in the country. Business anchor Dumisang Ndlovu has more.
One of the big issues that came out of MTBPS, being the medium-term budget policy statement for 2025, is that growth for South Africa has been revised down once again to 1.2%, and the concern there is that that is just not enough economic growth to create jobs, particularly for the youth unemployment crisis that South Africa faces. I'm joined now by Youth Capital's Siba Nobandla to speak more on this. Siba, your views as Youth Capital. Of course, youth unemployment remains a big issue in the country. Was this MTBPS speaking to that front?
So we were expecting the MTBPS to speak to that, especially because considering the fact that stats released unemployment stats yesterday, and when comparing last year, the same quarter, to this year, the same quarter, the youth unemployment stats actually went up. So we were going to this thinking that, Inadeguate would tackle the youth unemployment rate that is going up again. I'm sure seeing that the budget is not effectively fighting the youth unemployment rate. We were initially just disappointed by the fact that there was not any mention of young people within this budget, and when it comes to unemployment, there was only one mention about unemployment. We talked a lot, talked a lot about infrastructure and remedying the debt that South Africa has, but there was no talk about how that would lead to increased youth investment, increased investment in people overall, but also increased ways in which people could acquire skills, which is a very important part as well of the South African growth, investing in the future of South Africans.
Having said that, what would have been the ideal message that MTBPS speaks directly to the challenges of South African youth?
So the ideal reaction would have been to acknowledge that youth unemployment is a crisis. Youth skills are a very important thing that young people need to have access to, and it would be great to see that the budget would be allocated in a way that would envision investing in youth as investing in the people of South Africa, as investing in the economy as well. So we talk about again like the decrease in the unemployment, the projected economic growth rate, but then we don't talk a lot about young people. We don't talk about boosting it. We don't talk about making sure that opportunities, we continue to open opportunities for young people beyond.
Thank you so much. That was Siba Nobandla from Youth Capital giving reaction there to the medium-term budget policy statement that was tabled earlier this afternoon in Parliament, raising concerns that the MTBPS does not directly speak to the development of South African youth, funds not necessarily being put into the vehicles that would see direct investment in the upskilling of South Africa's youth, where youth unemployment remains at critically high levels in the country. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Dumisang Ndlovu in Cape Town.